I'm Ryan Kelly, your host of Media Central here at the 2023 Florida Limo Association Ground Transportation Show, and we're in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I have the privilege of speaking with Larry Janowitz. He is the president of Larry Private Car and Limo Worldwide out of Davie, Florida. And we're also with Tim Guldin. He is the Southern Sales Manager for Temsa. Gentlemen, we thank you for being here today. It's been a great couple of days of the show. We were here with yesterday talking with Rick Versace, and this show's 25 years in the making. And a lot of good things have happened. We've married 4 different Florida limo associations into one, and this is the inaugural version of the Florida Limo Association show. And you excited to be here?
Very. Thanks for having us.
Now, you serve on the board, right? Are you on the board of directors?
I do.
So you saw all this take place over the last year as Rick and the rest of you guys got together and working with Sarah to create the first ground passenger transportation show. And I'll tell you, one of the unique things about the show is there's a vehicle for everybody here. So if you're coming to the show and you want to see the different types and super sizes of vehicles, there's a vehicle for everybody here. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a great turnout. and they literally put this together in the last 6 to 8 months. And, for an inaugural show, it's amazing. It's a great turnout. There's, a lot of vehicles here, and we're excited to be here.
And it's great having Temsa because being a motor coach operator or one of the OEMs that builds coaches, limo operators are really getting into motor coaches now.
Yeah. And we have, it's a unique space for us because we have the 3 different sizes, the TS30 to TS35, the TS45 actually 4, and the TS45 electric. So it's a good fit for the limo folks, and we like to say we have a size for every application. So it's been a great opportunity for Temsa.
Now, Larry, you are a proud owner of some Temsa 45s. So we've got one of your coaches here on the floor. Why Temsa?
Well, the Jano Coach Division, which is our bus division, we started with many different sizes. Of course, the smaller mini coaches, probably before Temsa was in this market. And going into motor coaches, we did try other brands prior. It's night and day from what Temsa offers in support, in camaraderie from the team, the service department, the sales department. They'll do anything for you. I became like I know them for a lifetime. They became friends. They're very entertaining. They really take care of the customers. They take care of my mechanic. They'll fly somebody to you if they have to. They've done pretty much anything it'll take to keep us happy, as opposed to other brands of coaches and mini coaches. It's not the same. It's not the same. You're just another client and wait in line like everybody else kind of thing, but not with Temsa.
Now, the coach you have on the floor, you have this new coach. You've introduced new aerodynamics. You have new technology. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. Larry took delivery of his TS45 at the beginning of this year, and this particular unit has some really unique features that we've upgraded the vehicles with: lane departure system, the adaptive braking, the Bendix wingman, just to name a few as far as the safety features. And it's also wheelchair equipped, so kind of getting into another segment for Larry, and it's been working out really good for both of us.
So 45s, you need 45-foot coaches, huh?
Well, it was good enough that we're going to order 2 more Temsas.
Awesome.
A smaller mini coach version, which has a phenomenal turning radius and does much better than the cutaways. The engines can go to 800,000 miles like a motor coach, as opposed to a 5-year-old 300,000-mile rattle box when you're done with a mini coach. It's just 2 different animals, and we decided to venture off into coaches, and it's pretty scary because when you go from what you're used to over a decade of minibuses, then you look at this thing and it's like, wow, it's an airplane. It actually becomes a lot simpler than it looks, and it's the layout of it, the structure of it. When you understand it and you start learning about it, it's night and day to take care of. the mechanic even would look at it and say, wow, let's start learning about this. And he's reading digital manuals. And guy taught himself anything he doesn't know, and whatever he didn't teach himself, make a phone call to Temsa, they'll teach it for you.
That's awesome. Now, safety. The safety of a coach based on the chassis, it's a different animal, right?
Absolutely. I mean, our requirements for motor coaches are held to a much stricter regulations than some of the other types of vehicles. We have rollover requirements. We have, there's a lot of different testing going on as far as the seats, the crash zones, and things like that. So that's very important in the motor coach side.
Now, let's talk about Temsa in general. Something that, as I have got to know the brand, I mean, you're in 84 countries, so you're global.
Yes.
And when you have a brand that size, it allows you to do things that smaller brands can't do. And I think one of the interesting things that I've learned is you build your own batteries, and you make your own parts, and that allows you to be able to get parts out to the customer quicker. You actually know what's on board your coaches, and you're actually designing the gear as it specifically meets the needs of your vehicle instead of sourcing third-party parts that you have to kind of work into your engineering. Would you agree with that?
Sure, absolutely. We have, I'm going to say it's close to 30 different models that are sold worldwide. The electric versions are getting very popular, both in transit and the motor coach side. We're testing a 45-foot electric bus out in the West Coast right now with some of the tech companies, and that's going to be a big boost in the electric side from the coach perspective. We're being very aggressive in technology, and there's more coming. So.
And I love the new front end. I had a customer send me a picture of two Temsas that they had with their branding on it. It pops out at you. I mean, the new aerodynamics that you've done to the front of that coach it looks great.
Oh, thank you.
So
yeah, and it's functional. The three-piece bumper is, if you take a corner hit, you're not buying a whole bumper. You're just buying that corner. And quite honestly, a lot of the damage done to motor coaches is usually the corners, but yes, no, the factory did an awesome job as far as the new look of the TS45.
what do you think?
I think I agree with him. You hit a corner, scrape a bottom, it's broken down to smaller parts, which makes things a lot better. And it has the tag axle has it turn. It's got a steerable tag axle, if that's the right terminology.
That's correct. Yeah.
And it swings out a lot better, so they clip a lot less things. So your corner damages should be a lot less, and it's also a lot on tire wear. On the tag axle tires, usually get chewed up pretty fast, especially with like local city driving. And this bus is phenomenal. I mean, every little feature about it is so far advanced from some of the others.
Well, let's ask the question in this southern Florida heat. Is it cold on board?
Yeah, well, that's one of our main things. This air better be cranking. And yes, it does. It does. And any little issue that we have with it, we call, they tell you how to tweak it, and it's perfect.
Yeah, our main goal is to keep the cost of operation for Larry's company and, all the other operating companies at a minimum, and as he mentioned, the tag tires, the life of those is just one example of, the cost of operation that we're working on to keep things down, and it's a big advantage for a steering tag.
And that 45 has got the turn radius.
It does. It's number one in the class. So it's kind of scary at times. People look at you like, "What are you trying to do?" And it just turns.
And if you look at the roads around here in Miami, there's some crazy turns you have to make, right?
Yeah, you bring that bus down to downtown Miami and talk about clipping things. You take home statues with you from the front of hotels. But realistically, the thing handles great. The drivers, it's the Bentley of buses. The drivers drive our other equipment, which is all new, by the way. We don't hold stuff for very many years. Big turnover and, in-house maintenance, and so they're in good shape. The drivers go from other buses to that bus, and they feel like they're driving a Bentley. They come back, they're like, wow, this thing's amazing. So that to the point where our trainer decided that she's going to train in all the old equipment, not to spoil the driver and make it too easy. I want to see that let's make it a little tougher. Let's see if they can get by that. So we don't even let them drive the Temsa until we know they drove every other bus.
So, and you're buying 2 more. So, how many do you have in your fleet?
Well, this was our first Temsa.
Okay.
So we probably would order more faster, but like everything else, the supply chain issues. So right now we're going to sign for another motor coach and another, instead of one of our cutaways, we'll either add or eliminate one of those, and we're going to do it either one of their 30s or 35s.
So let's talk about that for a minute. The long-term cost savings with that. So you'll have twice a life. You'll have a safer vehicle based on the way that the body sits on the chassis. The things kind of work better internally.
Yes.
You have the engine gives you cooler air, gives you more torque, better gas mileage. So overall, I mean, it's just a much better deal with the long-term investment.
Well, there's so many pluses opposed to other kind of buses. Here you go to the back of the bus like any motor coach. You open the back. It's easy to reach to everything. You open the hood of a mini coach engine, and you're climbing in there and trying to figure out what you're gonna have to dismantle to get to it. And it's a much more cumbersome task to maintain those buses and troubleshoot their problems.
We try to focus on the mechanics world as well. When we're building buses, we certainly pay attention to the mechanics and what they need to get to, and making it a lot more simpler to get to certain areas. Like, for instance, headlights. We're just pulling a ring, and the headlight drops down, and in 10 minutes or 5 minutes you get the bulb changed. Which and you mentioned about the body on chassis. That's the unique thing about it. It's not body on chassis. It's a monocoque chassis.
True, yes.
And it's stick built from the ground up, which is where that safety comes in, and that strength and that longevity. So that's a big plus.
Wow, yeah, I didn't say that right, did I?
Well, that engine,
right.
our regular engines,
Yep.
like I had mentioned, in 5 years, you have a rattle box that's got 300,000 miles on it that may or may not be worth very much, but it's the delivery of what your customer gets. And in these type of buses, it's a 20-year structure that they're good for 20 years, I think, is about, on the body, on the structure of the bus. And the engine, you can get between 500 and a million miles out of an engine like that. You're not going to get 500 to a million miles out of any mini coach. I don't care who you buy it from. It's still a regular, American-made engine, and it is what it is. Different animal.
I understand. So what applications are you using the coach in with your business?
Well, we do a large amount of corporate. That bus happens to be doing a lot of local. We're not very big on over the road, interstate type thing. So it holds up pretty well. It takes much more of a beating in the city streets, and it's so far. I don't know if we're quite into a year yet, but we're maybe 6 months or so on that particular bus, and I have 0 complaints.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited. We're excited to be able to spend this moment with you. I love your bus.
Thank you.
And I'm happy that you're happy with Temsa and buying more equipment to service all the different niches that your business is. And Tim, we thank you for spending some time with us today.
Well, thank you, Ryan, and obviously thank you, Larry, for your business. And
Thanks for being there for us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm Ryan Kelly, and we're here with Tim Guldin. He is the Southern Sales Representative for Temsa, and we're also here with Larry Janowitz. He is with Larry's Private Car and Limo Worldwide, the president out of Davie, Florida, and we're excited for you guys to spend a few minutes with us here at Media Central.
Thank you.